If you don't use it, you lose it. It's never been more true for older adults. As we get older, atrophy and other problems start to set in, bodies start winding down, slowing down a bit. But there is hope. We can do things to slow that down. We can be physically active, mentally active. We can watch what we eat. There's so many things you can do. And it's really tough to do those things. I know. Last night I had the worst sleep. I was awake at about 3-ish. And when I wake up, as soon as I start thinking about something, my mind just goes. It's in all different directions. And then here I am, 4:30, quarter to 5, still awake, laying there. Finally, I got to sleep just when it was time to get up and go to work. So the point here is that I still did my workout first thing in the morning. I still came down into the basement. I still did my leg workout. I was tired, still am. But I went through the motions because I know how easy it is to slip out of that habit of doing these things that help us keep us, a little bit more active, a little bit more mobile, a little bit younger, hopefully. And the reason I wanted to shoot this video is because I've been reading this book again, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And the reason I've been reading it is more of productivity and financial reasons. But, it applies to us as we age, as, our health, how our health is physically, mentally. It's those little daily habits we do that add up to, being able to get up and go and do things, and um, being able to lift children and grandkids and the groceries and, a tire or whatever, doing the yard work, or, just carrying a basket of clothes. And the reading's important. One thing I don't do enough of, even though I'm reading this, I definitely don't do enough. And when I retire, hopefully by the end of this year, my reading game is going to be on fire. I'm going to be reading a lot more. I'm going to do what I do with working out right now. It's non-negotiable. To me, it's, you eat, you sleep, you work out. Those three things I do no matter what, obviously, especially the first two. But so I just wanted to have a little chat with you today and talk about that, and just to point out some things that, about you. About, if you don't use it, you lose it. How many people do you know that, as they age, they give into whatever, either physical ailments or mental ailment. Like if you're depressed, you can see an older person might have a lot harder time, pulling themselves out of that, or gaining weight, being less mobile. And it's just easier. It's easy for us when we're younger. Even though I'm 60, I'm not that young, but I'm still, as far as a senior goes, I think I'm young. But it's easy to slip out of that. There's been times in my adult life where I haven't worked out for months at a time, and it was just so hard to get back into, and it takes weeks to get back into it, and you're just fighting it all the way, or dieting, not eating at night. That's something I've struggled with. And but once you do it, you're okay. Like this week, I haven't been eating at night, and after you do it for a few nights, it just gets easier, because those little, like the book says, compound effect. Those little things you do, they all add up. It's like investing. When you invest into, the S&P 500 or the TSX, whatever, into a fund that's like an all equities or stock fund. And even you might only put in $50 a month, $100 a month, whatever it is, but over time, compound with the interest and the accumulation of all of your deposits, it turns out to be quite an amount, right? So now I just did up this little whiteboard here. Uh, I'm going to jump around a little bit now. So KISS. So if you're not familiar with that acronym, it's Keep It Simple, Stupid. Now, I'm not calling you stupid. That's just what it is. It just because they had to add another S so they could say KISS, I guess. Um, so just keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate things you're doing. Don't overcomplicate your exercise routine. Um, that's something I've been looking into. When I was younger, I used to just try and do everything, and now I'm seeing that I can't do everything, and nor do I want to. I'm just too tired for it, and I'm trying to be a lot more efficient in my workouts, and I'm always considering new ways to train. I'm always looking at new exercises, and I'm going back to old ones that more compound movements versus, hey, how about that? More compound movements versus isolation movements. But so keep it simple, no matter what you're doing. If you're working out, if it's like me with the reading, the mental health, there are things like I said earlier, we know people that sit. I have a mother-in-law that's mentally she's there 100%, and physically she's not. And if she would force herself to move a bit, she would probably be a lot more mobile. But I can see how in the last 5 years or so she's declining. The father-in-law passed away in 2021, and that was probably pretty tough on her. And I can see how physically she's kind of not doing as much as she should be. So you have to get up, and you have to carry things. If you're concerned about going to the grocery store and being able to carry your groceries in, you need to practice that. You need to practice getting up from, like, if you want to get up from the couch, you got to do things like squatting and deadlifts. Anything pulling and pushing. If you can do push-ups, it doesn't have to be on the floor. It can be an incline push-up against a sofa. um, if you have access to a Bowflex or a Nautilus machine where you have cables, you can do your chest on there. And pulling, you need to be able to pull things. Sometimes you got to pull, right? And grip strength. So farmers walks, and just about anything where you're grabbing on, right? um, and walking. One of the things I think are the most important for physical activity is walking. Aside from strength training, you need to walk. You just have to. It gets the whole body going. It gets the blood flowing throughout the body. It moves the big muscles in the legs. That helps with blood glucose, um, or blood sugars, and it's just good exercise. Cardiovascularly, is that a word? It's king. And you can walk briskly, you can walk slow, depending on how you feel. There's a lot of times if I'm on the treadmill, I just get on there and I'm like a sloth. I still go. I have my set speed and incline that I start at, and as I progress, I usually increase the speed, and I increase the incline. But there's some days where I just keep it at that, and I'm just happy to get through 15-20 minutes, a few times. I mentioned about brain health, about reading, and there's things you can do, like you know problem solving, like doing Sudokus, or if you're like me on your phone all the time and you're just sometimes just being online, like accessing your bank and your investments and different things is enough of problem solving, right? But reading is important. And I think too, one of the things I've lacked for a lot of years is uh, communicating out loud with people, which is odd because now I have a YouTube channel and I'm not a big talker. I'm sure if anybody's really watched me and thought about that, you would see that I'm not that communicative. Like, I just don't. I sit and my wife will be the one that talks a lot, and I'll just sit and not say a lot. But I think that's really important to do that and get out and talk to other people, and talk to your wife or your husband or your kids or your parents or whoever you have in your life. And, as we age, we need to be able to communicate, not just lift heavy things and lift things up and put them down. We need to be able to tell people what we want and or don't want, right? So that's it. I just wanted to have a little chat with you and just say that these things are important. And I hope that you'll consider some of the things I've mentioned. And if you're not doing something, if it's working out, man, you got to do something. Just keep it simple. Anything, little thing, every day. Walk for 10, 15 minutes if you can. Do something physical, even if you just get on what I call Spider-Man crawls, where you get on the ground, hands and feet, and it's similar to a bear crawl but easier. And you just kind of crawl around on the ground, something like that. Just do that, just to start, and do it every day, and you'll see after however many days you're feeling stronger. Now you're going to move on, advance on to the next thing, right? And eventually you're going to be doing big bench presses and squats and deadlifts. Who knows? So thanks for watching. If you're still here, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Did you know that my channel is at over 7,000 subscribers now? I just noticed that today. That is crazy. Thank you, everybody. If you're new here, consider subscribing. If you're 50 and over and you're into physical fitness, whatever level, I love to chat with everyone. So everybody, have a great day.